everybody, it's Donna Nauman. I'm here today with Randi Light. We are both very interested in helping you expand your horizon and getting healthy. Healthy through hypnosis is what we're going to be doing today. Randi Light is a practitioner, and the name of her company is Enlightened Living Hypnosis Academy. So she helps people with stress, anxiety, headaches, pains, all different kinds of things. So today I would like to introduce Randi Light.
Hi there. Thank you, Donna, for doing this. It's awesome.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get started in hypnosis?
Well, I used to be a massage therapist, and I needed a way of helping people heal that didn't hurt me. And I kind of happened upon hypnosis. There were so many weird rules and laws in Indiana about hypnosis. So I went to Illinois and tried it out to 2 12-hour days and getting trained. And I was like, what is this? What is hypnosis? I'm not hypnotized. You know, I had no idea it could help with all the things that I've done in the last 14 years. And since then, I've hypnotized thousands of children and adults to break through almost everything you could ever imagine and become the best version of themselves. And in Indiana, where I live, I had to do 500 classroom hours. My students only have to do 150 classroom hours to become a certified hypnotherapist.
Wow. So you have a lot of experience working with people. One of the things that as a nurse practitioner, I find very interesting is patients will come into the office and we'll diagnose them with migraines or irritable bowel or depression. And we either send them home with a pill or we give them a referral to see somebody else. And some of that makes it better. But I know the underlying cause or that root cause is still really present. And coming from this place of learning about functional medicine and becoming a functional medicine provider myself, I too took the hypnosis class. And this is where I met Randi two or 3 years ago at one of the conferences there. And really, she turned me on to all the beauty of doing hypnosis. And so I really started studying mindset. Could you speak a little bit to how mindset can help people, like even so much as reverse diabetes or reverse irritable bowel syndrome or reverse some of these disease processes?
Well, so what we believe plays a huge role in, so if we believe that we can heal and we deserve to heal, and get better, then we can actually find a way to get better. If we believe that we'll always be sick or we'll always have this problem because doctors have told us that, there's a statistic out there that says up to 80% of people who go to a doctor and get diagnosed with cancer and then are given a forecast of when they're going to die, that up to 80% will die right around the day the doctor tells them they're going to die. So your mindset, the research says we have 60,000 thoughts a day, and what you're focused, that's a lot. But what you're focusing on is also going to determine how you feel, right? So irritable bowel syndrome is very highly emotional. Yes, physical foods will affect it, alcohol and different things, but I've dealt with irritable bowel and stress, emotional stress, getting stressed out exacerbates almost every physical condition. And so no matter what anybody's dealing with, how you think about it, and if that's what you're focusing on. So what I teach all my clients and all my students and everybody, it's even on, if you call me, it says to focus on what you want instead of what you don't want. Right? And that is so basic and advanced.
Yeah. So in the practice world, about 90% of the things that come in the office are stress related underlying. And we are talking to patients statistically about 3 to 5% get education or ask questions about stress and anxiety. And so we are missing this big group of people. 90% are coming in with stress, but we're only educating or counseling patients 3% of the time on stress. So that means that we're doing a really crappy job. Yes. Yeah. And so that's kind of how I got excited about doing hypnosis. I've had a couple of patients with diabetes that we did some craving control hypnosis, and it worked awesome. Can you speak to a little bit of like what's happening during a hypnosis? People all still have that little, oh, it's a woo woo. I still hear that all the time. And I'm surprised that we're still in that space.
Well, hypnosis is a normal, natural, common, everyday occurrence, as you know. It's a focused state of awareness that we go in and out of many times a day. It's a focused state of concentration. It's a focused state where you're more open and receptive. And research says that a suggestion given in a hypnotic state, even one time, can have the same effect as long-term conditioning and practice. So that's really powerful. I have so much research backing up everything that I do with my clients and my students, and on mental rehearsal, practicing in your mind, you being healthy, being able to turn on gene expressions of growth and healing and repair, turning off or down regulating inflammation markers. The Dr. Joe Dispenza, his book, love his books, right? So You Are the Placebo. There's countless studies about the placebo and how it affects you, and that means what you believe. And his book is called You Are the Placebo, and I like to say you are the magic wand. And so what you focus on, so if you're going to focus on healing instead of being sick, then you are on that path towards healing. The problem is most people give up quickly.
Yes.
Right? If a tree gets sick, we don't know it could be almost a year before it starts showing signs. And same for us. Mm-hmm. And so then we want that instant fix, which meds don't always do. Anyway. But there really isn't. It took that long for our bodies to get sick. And so we need to mentally rehearse and practice in our minds and believe that it's possible for us to heal. But even if we do all that, if we're still stressed out and we're still in a state of worry and that fight or flight response is on, you're going to create inflammation in the body, because cortisol creates inflammation and it exacerbates every physical condition. So to me, every single person almost who comes to my office, and even though I specialize in anxiety and depression and insomnia and chronic pain, as well as peak performance, anybody, whatever, if they're coming in with a disease, that means that their emotions have also manifested in their body. Then they're going to need to do more sessions. But no matter what, almost all the time, even if it's weight loss, I do the first session of the Essential Four, and you have that book and stuff. And this is,
I have the four, and I have the steps to be empowered. And I have used this one before. So they're awesome.
So remember that first session, it's all about reducing stress. And, I believe just going into the hypnotic state, and it's not just what I believe, it's actually proven, melts the stress right out of your system. It resets your systems. And when you start to believe in yourself and you start to feel good again, then you are on a success path. So that first session builds confidence. It strengthens the ego. It does a little bit of emotional clearing, is what I call, in a light and easy way, so you can have a great hypnotic experience. And I install the 4 L's so that you respond more resourcefully to the world. And it builds this foundation. It melts the stress. So now you're prepared to do some of the deeper work, the deeper healing. You believe in yourself. People choose salmon over pizza. Fibromyalgia goes into remission. Like people sleep better. I have people come back to me a week later who came in specifically with sleep issues. And when I ask them what went well, that's how I open each coaching with hypnosis session. They forget to tell me that they've been sleeping great. They just forgot, even if that's what they came in for.
Because it's so normal. You're supposed to sleep good. So I think a lot about, or talk to patients a lot about the different beta, alpha, theta waves of the brain and how hypnosis kind of goes into one of those. Would you like to talk to that a little bit?
Sure. So as I was talking about earlier, hypnosis is a normal, natural, common, everyday occurrence. So when you're driving the same way that you drive all the time, we call it highway hypnosis, when you don't even recognize that you made it into your driveway. When we're watching TV, 2/3 of the time, your brainwaves are cycling in alpha, which is a light state of hypnosis or a light state of meditation. You're in hypnosis.
Yeah.
Can you tell?
Watching the burger commercials.
Oh yeah, no, don't do that. So when we are active and thinking, like you and I right now, our brainwaves are cycling in beta, like mainly in beta. But when we get focused on a book, a movie, a project, when we get absorbed in something, our brainwaves slow down out of beta into alpha. And alpha is just a light state of hypnosis or a light state of meditation. And it's our brainwaves slowing down. And really the only difference, or should I say the main difference between hypnosis and meditation, is that hypnosis is meditation with a goal, with a purpose.
I like
so that. Yeah. So as our brainwaves slow down out of beta, they go into alpha. And then as our brainwaves continue to slow down, they go into theta. And theta is just a deeper state of hypnosis or a deeper state of meditation. And as our brainwaves continue to slow down, they go into delta, which is sleep. So you literally go through hypnosis when you're going to sleep and when you wake up in the morning. And remember, a suggestion given in a hypnotic state, even one time, can have the same effect as long-term conditioning and practice. So what you're saying and what you're focusing on before you go to sleep affects how you sleep and how you feel when you wake up in the morning, because you are delivering suggestions to your subconscious mind with your conscious analytical mind.
Yes. And I've also heard like the first thing in the morning and the first time right before bed are really two really perfect times to either do your hypnotic scripts, your meditations, or whatever it is that you're getting ready to, because you're still kind of in that alpha brainwave mostly, and you don't go through that so much during the day, but it's really prominent before we go to bed and when we get up in the morning.
Right. You have to get out of beta and go into alpha and theta to get to sleep. To get to sleep, you go through hypnosis. And yes, exactly. There's research. This is all researched. I'm very research oriented and science based, and there's so much to prove, it.
Yeah. So during hypnosis, could you just describe to a patient what that feels like for somebody when they're under hypnosis?
Well, I don't even like to use the word under. So I teach all my students to say in hypnosis, because it gives us false belief.
Yeah.
So most people would describe being not just in hypnosis, being hypnotized by somebody, right? So if somebody comes into my office, or now we do so many sessions online, either way, when they come out of hypnosis, they are so relaxed. Like a lot of times they have a new outlook, feel so different, but the word, a lot of times people come out of hypnosis, they open their eyes and they're like, wow. And they'll always say that they feel so relaxed, even if they didn't even think they could be hypnotized, even if they think they were too analytical during the hypnosis session, they feel relaxed. And what's interesting is when I was getting trained, my teacher, so he was guiding me into hypnosis, and he told me to imagine a soothing, relaxing energy, and did like a progressive relaxation, and I just said to myself, I'm going to bathe that healing light on my neck. Now, he never said those words, but it heals my neck, which is curved the wrong way twice. And I've been in chronic neck pain for 10 months. And it was really aggravated when I was, reading a lot and doing my 500 classroom hours. And so I woke up for the first time in 10 months without being in pain in my neck, and didn't notice. But the next day I did. And the next day after that, I'm like, oh my God, my neck pain's gone.
It feels so good.
So I went to the chiropractor like a week after that, because my hip was out, and C1, cervical disc, one vertebrae wasn't out for the first time in 10 months.
Wow.
So my subconscious realigned my spinal column while I was in hypnosis.
Wow.
And I told that story at one of my vision board workshops. And while I was hypnotizing them, I was having them go down a set of stairs, and then I told them this story that I just told you, and two people had healings. One person had fallen and hurt her back, and her doctor gave her meds and made her loopy, and so she didn't want to take them. She's like, my pain's gone. And then the other person said, I got an email a couple of days later, my chronic neck pain of 10 years that used to keep me up at night is gone.
Wow, that's so awesome.
So I just make sure I say soothing, healing. I say soothing, relaxing, and healing. So that's what I teach my students. Don't just say soothing, relaxing. You might as well throw in healing, right?
Yeah. Get some extra bang for your buck.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really like about hypnosis too is setting anchors for people so that they have a way to revisit that healing energy that you're talking about as you're putting them into hypnosis. Can you speak to what an anchor actually does and how would you use one of those?
So I used to do it before I, did the Essential Four. So I used to always give an anchor to every single client, and I'm with you. It's like so powerful. And so now it's in my hypnosis audio recording that they get, so they can establish an anchor. So an anchor it can be a sound, it can be like a song, it can be a movement, it can be a combination of things. When I'm having clients set an anchor, I usually have them either touch their thumb and finger or make a fist. It's kind of like a mudra in yoga, because if you do this every time you're in a meditative state, really all you need to do is go like this, and your brainwaves should naturally slow down, because that's your mudra, that's your hypnotic, that's your meditative
that's your
state.
brain connecting the mudra to the brain and that relaxation feeling.
So when people do it in meditation, they may not know why they're doing it or what they're doing. As a hypnotist, we install it. So we create that neuroassociation, we create that habit. So here's an example. So I remember driving in my car a few times, listening to the radio, and Bruce Springsteen would come on the radio. And I would be transported back to Tracy Sackley's bedroom, singing at the top of my lungs, and this great feeling and this great memory would pop in. So what happened was, and I didn't know this, an auditory anchor, so that Bruce Springsteen song triggered an emotion and a memory. And so we learned along the way with NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, that we could create anchors and triggers. They happen all the time, right? If your spouse or mother or somebody looks at you a certain way, it's going to trigger an emotion, perhaps a memory. So we learned that we can create them, and we can install whatever you want. So if you wanted to feel confident or courageous or loved or whatever it is, we can install it with a memory and into this, so that all you have to do is kind of go like this or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. You just have to pick it and what you want and the memory, and we create that neuro association. And so, like, I had a person who had a fear of flying, and we did a few different things, but I gave her an anchor. So when she was thinking about and getting stressed, she'd go like this and she'd feel calmer. Whether she was thinking about getting on the plane, whatever it was, she'd do her anchor.
Yeah, that's so powerful, isn't it?
Yes.
I think the brain is highly overlooked in a healing modality, really, because you can't measure it, you can't do research statistics. And, like in medicine, like you can measure the effect of the drugs, like you can measure the blood pressure, or you can measure the heart rate or whatever. And I think that we're really missing a big link to helping people heal by not doing some of these things to help people correct some of their thinking. I'm sure you know that about 85% of our thoughts in the day, and you said we have 60,000 thoughts, 85% of those are negative, or we're worrying about something. And of those 85% of the things that we worry about, only about, I think somewhere around like 15% actually anything happens at all. And of that, for 15%, they end up to really be nothing at all. So we're running around in this negative behavior, 60,000 thoughts flying through our brain, making chemicals all over our body. And we don't think that doing any kind of stuff with our brain is important. So asking you, as far as the healing modalities and the thoughts we think and how we incorporate the brain into almost an everyday type thing, what do you tell your clients? Like, this is what you need to be doing on a pretty routine basis.
Well, I do want to say a couple of things, and then I might have to have you remind me of that question. Okay. But one of my favorite quotes by Mark Twain is, "I've lived through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually happened." So that just says everything to what you just said. And one negative thought can kick in the fight or flight response. Just one releases a chemical cascade that makes you feel bad, makes your body weak, can create inflammation in the body or aggravate. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I'm sure there's plenty of other people, they are mapping the brain. Dr. David Spiegel is mapping the brain. They are looking into what happens when you meditate. And so they are taking blood. before and after, like Dr. Joe's 4-day workshops, before, during, after. They're taking blood, seeing how the blood has changed, what the red blood cells and the different things that are in there. They're the white blood cells, what's happening with the immune system. They're checking which area of the brain's firing off. They're noticing, so they are actually doing it. And HeartMath, the Institute for HeartMath, is doing so much research on heart rate variability, and that can be measured, and that is a telling of stress levels. So it's here. It's here. It's just slow, I guess, in getting out there.
My point to it was the medical profession is not.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, I just got back from Dr. Joe Dispenza's conference. I went there in December, and he showed slides of the blood work and stuff that they were doing on patients. And what they found was they took the blood before the patients or before clients came to his conference. They did all this meditation. He does a lot of really cool energy work and stuff too. And then they rechecked it. Well, what they decided to do is they hooked up with a guy that does like viral stuff in California. And they started putting viruses on the tube of blood that was before and the tube of blood that was after. And what they found was the people that went through the program did not get the virus. So, I mean, it is a very exciting work. And I look forward to it coming into the medical profession, but they're not teaching brain and hypnosis and things like that in med school, which I get. Like, I'm not here to ding on medicine because it does save lives, for God's sakes. My job for 18 years, I feel like every bit of it was important, what I was doing. But now just, switching the corner and coming around to, could we be doing a little bit more? Could we be helping patients in a bigger way? I've added the energy work, the hypnosis work, like all of those things become so critical. And I'm sure you see that in what you do, helping people get through crisis.
Yes. And so I don't remember what your question originally was. Do you?
I wondered if you give them like homework that they forward, like you finished up doing all their hypnosis stuff. Going forward, like how do we stay true to our brain connection and connecting with the positivity or the anchor or whatever it is that you're working with in hypnosis?
Well, if they're not being their own best friend and their own best coach, then we're not done with the work yet. If they're so as you have the book and you just showed it, the Step Into Your Power book. So whether they come in for if they come in for weight loss, they'll get this book, but this is their guidebook to keep track of their learnings, to remind them of what they learned, to record their hypnosis sessions. I give them hypnosis audio recordings that help them to keep track of their learnings. Nice. And I combine coaching with hypnosis. So that I'm coaching them and hypnotizing them, and in essence, teaching them to become their own best coach, to have their back. Yeah. And once they do that, then you can fly and do it on your own. And maintenance sessions are great too, and recognizing that, that we all need a tune-up, right? Just like a haircut or a massage, we can start to build stress or not be there for self. And life happens, and a lot, shit happens, right? Things happen. Yeah. And so some people need, I believe everybody, if time and money didn't matter, and everybody would benefit from going through this.
I totally agree. Time and money, yes, absolutely. Because I think like a really good healthcare plan would be like, starting off the day with a little energy work, a little meditation and prayer, and then, exercising. And then towards the afternoon when you're ready for a nap and your brain's kind of going down to that alpha, you could like do your hypnotics and, it sounds really good, doesn't it? I'm getting relaxed just as I'm thinking about it. Oh my goodness. So tell me how do people find you? And if they wanted to do some work with you, what would they do for that?
So there's almost anywhere. And I have a website, Randi Light Hypnosis, and it's Randi with an I. So, and I also have a complimentary coaching call, so people can sign up for that at my website. And it's a 20 to 30 minute coaching call to help you make a breakthrough. And there's also hypnosis audio recording there. So that's one way, going to my website. You can just reach out to me, my email at randilight@gmail.com. Perfect. And also My phone number, you can text me or call me at 219-929-8726. And then I also have a Facebook business page, Enlightened Living with Randi Light. And so all these, you just Google people's names these days, but I have a lot of free things for people, and I can offer a $50, savings for people if they mention this is where they found,
nice.
They sign us through here so that they could come. But, just get started, and you can get over whatever's in your way, and you can feel good. And there's always in my world, there's always another layer of the onion to peel. So if you're dominant negative emotion, if you always feel guilty or you always feel anxiety, we can clear that and get to the root cause of that, like you talk about. But then sometimes, most of the time, there's another layer of the onion to peel. And so like energy comes up and we can clear that. But there's always also another level of joy, of confidence, of success in your mind. So we don't necessarily think of that, but we can feel even better, even more confident, even more joyful. There's more levels that you can rise up, and why not go for the bliss more and more?
Yeah, I think we miss a little bit of the bliss in our busy, crazy world. And I think the bliss is really all around us. And feeling that bliss, I think, comes from just being hopeful, and believing that you can be better and feel better, and digging a little and investigating a little and figuring out who you're working with. And so that's why I really wanted to have you here today, because you've been my mentor as far as hypnosis goes. And I've used your scripts and I love them. They're very effective for helping patients. I would also just like, as a little ending side note, I am doing a practice as well, and you can look me up on Facebook as well. It's called Journey of You, and you can reach out and do a discovery call. Or text me as well. It's 636-262-1645. But for Randi, I would like to say immense appreciation for what you're doing. Immense thankful for training other people to be able to do this. I really believe that we all have a light, and that light is what makes this world a really great place to live. And you're following the light. And I know that because you're educating other people about how to help people. And in the midst of it, you're still helping so many people. And the world needs healing. And all that healing just begins with us making that one step. Maybe that's a one call to work with Randi. Maybe that's one call to work with me, whatever. It just is that one step. And then we all become this evolution of healing. And we need that. And it just starts with us, one person at a time. Thank you, Randi Light. It was a pleasure to have you. Again, find Randi on Enlightened Living Hypnosis Academy. Thank you, Randi.
Thank you so much, Donna.